Okay, let's actually talk about this one. This one's going to be funny. As the title says, we're going to actually be talking about games you're looking forward to that are not releasing in 2025. And I actually thought this was quite a funny topic because, as we do know, there were a lot of games that were meant to drop in 2024 that got delayed to 2025, and 2025 is actually coming to a close. Genuinely, we're in September. I kid you not, 2025 is almost done. And yeah, a lot of these games are not going to be releasing in 2025, the games that we're going to be talking about today. So if you're interested on the games not coming out, let's get straight into this one. And some of these games are games you guys have been looking forward to for a very long time now. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's actually just get straight into it. Now, the first game on this list is a game that actually kind of held dear to my heart, Yaiba. Now, you guys know how I feel about Yaiba, or if it's not your first day here, you know exactly how I felt about Yaiba ever since the first time we've seen some actual gameplay sneaks. In my opinion, I do believe Yaiba, if the progression in PvE is good, has a real solid chance of being probably one of the best Roblox anime Demon Slayer games that we have ever seen on the Roblox platform. Again, it all depends on if the progression and the PvE for this game is good. From what we have seen, we know the PvP is good, and we also know the gameplay mechanics and combat system is genuinely some of the best we've seen. Yes, it's parry based, but you can tell it's high quality. The movement is fluid, the abilities look clean and sleek without doing too much. Everything actually looks really smooth. So what's missing from Yaiba? We haven't seen any progression sneaks, and we actually haven't seen any like real PvE, like fighting bosses or maybe just fighting standard NPCs on the most part. As well as that, Yaiba hasn't posted a sneak, honestly, I think since the start of the year, and I'm 100% sure Yaiba is not releasing in 2025, which is pretty sad. This is genuinely one of those games where it's like, if it came out, it would genuinely be so fun. Like, I know this game's gonna be here. Honestly, I put this game in my excitement for it there with Hollowfied and Rell Seas. Honestly, if we're being serious, it's like the top 4, top 5 in my list out of any games releasing. So yeah, this game's definitely not coming out this year. It's super radio silent. I can bet money on the fact we won't see this game. So that's quite unfortunate. Whilst we're on the topic of Demon Slayer games, let's actually talk about Hinokami. Now, Hinokami did actually have a dev vlog showcase just a day or two ago, and within that dev vlog they actually finally showed off not only sneaks but how progression has been going on the development of the game. And honestly, they have improved the game a lot. They actually kind of did a mini revamp, and in the dev vlog you see the massive improvements the developers have made to the game. Genuinely impressive. However, it begs the question, is the game going to come out in 2025, or is it going to be delayed to 2026? Now, originally I thought this game was not going to come out this year, mainly because we haven't got actual sneaks from Hinokami since early 2025. However, the devlog came out and kind of changed my perspective on how I'm gonna see it. Also, the developers of the game did actually say they do want to get a 2025 release. However, with a lot of the changes they've been making, they are finalizing a lot of the new functionalities for the game. So is a mix between 2025 and 2026. Now, usually when developers say finalizing, it might mean it's soon or it might mean it's 10 years later. So it's really up to interpretation. Regardless, Hinokami's the new improved version of Hinokami at least is looking really good. I'm genuinely impressed with it, and from what it sounds like, the game is going to be very interesting. But yeah, the only reason it's still on this list is because originally I didn't think it was going to come out this year, but after the devlog, there's a possibility it might. I'm still gonna keep it here. The next game not coming out in 2025 is Rell Seas. Now, this one is really 50-50, super 50-50. Now, obviously, a couple of days ago, I actually did post a video that actually showed, or the Rell brothers telling us that Rell Seas isn't coming out 2025, or might not actually come out 2025. They didn't confirm it's not coming out 2025. They said it may not come out 2025. But what actually actually kind of made this issue a little bit worse was that on Twitter, they were posting things that's kind of contradicting the original post saying Rell Seas 2025. So yeah, we're probably not going to be seeing Rell Seas, and this one is actually a bit upsetting for everybody, including myself. It's genuinely a little bit frustrating, but can't rush greatness. But at the same time, honestly, what do we really do? What do we say? Some people are saying Rell Seas may not even come out next year. Which is obviously just people trolling, but it is unfortunate. Hopefully Rell Seas does come out this year. Genuinely, hopefully it does come out this year, but again, there is a big chance that the game doesn't come out this year as well, which is genuinely super annoying, which probably means movie 3 is going to get delayed too, because they did say movie 3 would give us a release time frame or a release date for the actual release. So speaking about Rell Seas is giving me depression. Let's move on. Next we have Emblem Tales. Now, for some people, for some reason, you guys actually remember what Emblem Tales is. I mean, who wouldn't? Back in 2021, it was literally, it was the trending topic. Literally the trending topic. You had your age on board with it. Not on board, but you know, looking forward to it. And then they did the playtest, and the playtest was quite abysmal. Literally quite abysmal. I thought it was actually pretty decent for the time, but the playtest was barely functioning. And once people were putting out videos of the playtest, there was people memeing the playtest being a giant base play and, oh, this is Emblem Tales. If you guys remember, if you were around in the community during Emblem Tales' playtest, you remember how developers were clowning on the game, community members were clowning on the game, etc. They ended the playtest early, stopped putting out sneaks. They said they were going to work in the game. They were going to work on the game in silence. And since then, let's say it's been like 3-4 years, bro. It's been over 3-4 years. We're heading into 2026 and we haven't gotten any information or any sneaks or anything of no real updates regarding Emblem Tales. Now, the developers did say that obviously they're still working on the game, but you know, ain't nothing to show for that. So Emblem Tales is probably not coming out in 2025. If we had to give it a release time frame, I'll probably say 2026. Genuinely, probably by the end of 2025, it would make sense if they put out some sort of devlog or a update video or like a trailer or like a teaser or something. But I doubt that. They've been working in silence for years, literally years. So by the time Emblem Tales comes out, are people really going to give a fuck? Maybe, maybe not. Just hope it releases before or else. Next, we have Pocket Anime. And Pocket Anime is not releasing this year. I mean, that's quite obvious, right? It's quite obvious. This is probably the most obvious one out of all the games on the list. Now, obviously, Pocket Anime is not releasing this year because we haven't even had phase 2 testing. And this one actually kind of annoys me. Like, it annoys me a lot. Now, if you don't know, the last Pocket Anime phase test 1 was literally back last year. I'm pretty sure it was February or March of 2024. It's been a very long time. And if you remember, on the 16th of May this year, you know, we got an announcement. Who cares about the dev stuff? But they said we've been finalizing the current area and we're excited to announce the next testing phase is coming soon. I'm not gonna lie to you, May was months ago. Tomorrow is September, and once September hits, May was 4 months ago. Are you telling me they are finalizing the current area they need to start phase 2 testing, and it's taking them 4 months to finalize it? It's taking them 4 months to finalize the phase 2 testing area. How does that make sense? This area, listen, if we hop in phase 2 testing and the game isn't complete, I'm gonna tweet. I'm so sorry. I am the biggest Pocket Anime glazer. I'm probably the only person in the world that stood behind Pocket Anime through this year of uncertainty. And you're telling me it's taken over 4 months to finalize finalize the phase 2 testing area. It's not like they're finalizing the complete version of the game. It's not like they're adding all of the gyms and adding all the content that's going to be on release. This is just finalizing the area they needed to get done for phase 2 testing. It's been 4 months and it's not here. We haven't gotten an announcement regarding it or anything. The 16th of May, by the way, and we are in September. We're in September. I don't care what anyone says. We are literally in September, right? 4 months to finalize. Finalize, which means it's done. Finalize would mean something along the lines of like, okay, we've damn near finished everything. We're just testing things out to see if there's any bugs or hiccups or glitches that we need to patch out. I would give it a month max from when they posted it. So I would expect by the end of June, this was posted on the 16th of May, end of June, they would put out another announcement saying, hey, give us 2 or 3 more weeks and we're ready for phase 2 testing. Nope. 4 months later and we haven't gotten anything. And it's I don't even know how to explain it. It's a terrible feeling, especially when it's coming from people you vouched for, even though no one else is vouching for them. Even though it's like the world turning their backs on everyone, but even though the world turned their backs on them, you stood strong, and it's biting you in the ass, bro. It's biting me in the ass, man. I can't lie. 4 months for finalization? I don't know what to tell y'all, bro. But yeah, even if phase 2 starts sometime this year, at this point it probably won't come out till like November or December. Obviously the full release of Pocket Anime wouldn't be till the end of 2026, and by then it might be too late because Rell Seas and GTA will be out by then. Next up on the list we have Arise. Now Arise, if you guys remember, is this game.
What makes Arise different from other Roblox games? Like, we have the best everything. This sounds crazy, but it does matter. We literally, look at the screen right now, look at this. I'm sure you guys can see the quality of this animation. We have the best everything. Our animator won a contest for being the best animator in the entire USA. So he's one of the best animators in America. That's how good our team is. We have the best animator in America. We have the best VFX artists in Roblox. We have the best team, the best modelers, the best everything, the best founders. Like, my team is literally bulletproof, like complete killers in my team.
Yes, you heard that correctly. Bulletproof dev team. Now, I do want to say something. For a game that's meant to have a bulletproof dev team that is coming out as a Battlegrounds before the RPG comes out, it sure has been in development for a very, very long time. Very, very long time. If you go in the Arise Discord server, there hasn't actually been a sneak for Arise since July. And also, if you look at the sneaks for Arise, on the most part, they are cutscenes. Now, the sneak for July is actually gameplay. The first time we've seen gameplay for the game. And if we're going to be honest, it looks like your typical Battlegrounds game in general. However, the abilities do look really flashy. They didn't really show too much of M1s. The game looks, I can't say it looks bad. It definitely doesn't look bad, but it looks good as well. It looks good. But at the same time, I don't know what to expect. I really do feel like Battlegrounds games always have this sort of, they always look flashy, they always look good, but they lack depth. So I don't know what to expect from it. The bulletproof dev team is looking real shootable right now. That's all I'm saying. The sneak from July was months ago, chat. July was months ago. And we haven't actually gotten any real news regarding release dates or anything of the sort, but they are still actively working on the game. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I genuinely don't think this is a 2025 release. If anything, it's a December release, but I'm still putting it on the list. That bulletproof team is looking real shootable right now. Next up on the list, we have Veilbound. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Veilbound actually has a chance of releasing probably later this year, but I do think it might actually be pushed for that early 2026 phase. And Veilbound's only on this list because they're actually working on this game and its quality. Now, unlike a lot of developers that just stay quiet about a lot of things, Veilbound actually has been pretty transparent with its community over time frame. Whether it's sudden QAs inside the Discord servers, or even recently there was a post they put, Summer 2025 progression update, where they went over some of the quality of life changes that they've been doing, new character systems that they've implemented into the game, world exploration, and just overall content things that they've added to the game, progression and more content things that they've added to the the game, and things that they're working on that is currently being implemented, and they're going to be trying to implement into the game as well. There's a lot of content being done with Veilbound, and honestly, Veilbound looks like one of those games that's genuinely going to be interesting. Obviously, a lot of people look at Veilbound and call it Deep Woken clone or Deep Woken copy. I'm tired of Roblox community members saying things look like stuff. Recently, people have been saying games look like Hyane or Hyane. Bro, Hyane isn't even out on the platform yet. How can the game look like Hyane? You're frustrating me. Stop speaking. I'm talking to you. Yes, the people that mindlessly type in the comment section. You guys actually need to go back to school. School needs to start for guys. Anyways, Veilbound actually looks amazing. Genuinely looking for it. And this is one of those games where it's like, yes, they'll go quiet for a while, but occasionally they'll at least communicate with the community. Whether it's within the Discord server, it might be a question and answer Discord podcast or something along those lines, whether it's like a paragraph or a sneak or an announcement. They say they update their community. They'll go quiet, but they update their community, and that's good. That's what's meant to be done, especially when you're developers and you're working at something. You know you're working at something. You know you're putting quality into your game. It's good to update your community every once in a while. If you do want to disappear and just work, I feel like this is how you do it. You don't just go quiet for a year or two like most games do, right? You go quiet for a couple of months or even a month, right? And occasionally you just reassure your community. No one's asking for a 10-hour video of what's been going on. It's just a little bit of reassurance. Even if it's a 10-second sneak or an announcement saying, hey guys, we've been working, reassurance. Nobody wants to support a game that goes quiet for years on end, and there's no guarantee of anything even being good because it's not even sneak, right? So that's Veilbound. Even if it doesn't come out this year, doesn't matter. Looks beautiful. Next we have Hollowfied. Now honestly, the things ways are next we have Hollowfied, and honestly, if we're being serious with the way things are going with Hollowfied, it's either going to be a late release or just a 2026 release. And honestly, this is one of those ones where it's genuinely not a bad. Now they do actually post sneaks for Hollowfied semi occasionally, and the sneaks are always of a good quality, so who can honestly complain? Recently, the developers did say they want to host a question and answer about Hollowfied, and I'm very sure there's going to be more information just centered around how the development process is going and, you know, time frames, if they plan on a 2025 release or not. But honestly, I can't complain. Hollowfied does look good. I am pretty satisfied with all the sneaks I've seen of the game so far. It does look like they're putting time and effort into the game. Not much to say here. Hollowfied looks amazing. Definitely, most likely not coming out 2025. Next up, we have Magoi. Now, Magoi is one of those games that I have been tuned into for a very long time now. And honestly, Magoi actually looks good, but Magoi has a huge problem and they still haven't fixed it since the last time I played. Now, those problems are the game's base combat system, super flawed with a lot of its hitboxes. Some things just don't correlate with each other. I'm not gonna lie, you guys will definitely understand what I mean if you watch my video. That video may be outdated at this point of time. However, from the sneaks I have seen as of recently, most definitely a lot of things haven't changed. As well as that, Magoi's UI system is really irritating to deal with. I know this isn't meant to be like a review video, but they haven't changed the UI, bro. The UI, you're gonna sound like nitpicking, but if it's something you have to deal with every single time you play the game, like it's one of your core quality of life features, the UI in Magoi is really bad. I can't lie. It makes the experience a little bit annoying. Again, it's one of those things you will definitely understand once you play it as well. It's not nitpicking, it's annoying. I've mentioned it. Obviously, the developers are free to do as they please, but clearly it doesn't faze them. It clearly doesn't faze them. There has been slight improvements to the UI since the last time I played, but overall it's still pretty much the same. Still super small. It's still not really user friendly. It's not user friendly at all in my humble opinion. But Magoi is actually a very interesting game, and I want to actually have the full experience of the game before I make a full judgment. But from what I've played so far, it's very 50-50, and I'm not gonna lie, people will get tired of that very quickly. But it's not about what I think of the game. This is about it being delayed or not. Magoi doesn't look like it's going for a 2025 release. I'm not gonna lie. The developers do post sneaks quite often, and they keep the community updated. Which is what I really like about this game. The developers are transparent. There's no sugarcoating. They post sneaks. They're free. They're active with the community in terms of relaying information to them, and even just keeping the Discord server active, right? Which a lot of developers just don't do. It's always nice to see developers actually being developers, taking pride in the ownership of their game, and it's lovely to see that. But yeah, I don't think this game's releasing this year. It's not releasing this year. They're doing a lot of CC events and things of that nature. Magoi will eventually have a full release for the public, and that's not happening in 2020 at all. Next, we have Clover RPG. Now, Clover RPG is a bit of a different one. Now, the reason why I say Clover RPG is a little bit different is because this game was meant to come out in 2024. They delayed it to add more content to the game, which is actually good. They did put out a development showcase sometime in 2025 to kind of tell us where they've been, but they didn't really tell us too much other than they just want to improve the game and add more content to it, which is always a good thing. The good thing about Clover RPGs, they never really stay silent for too long. Over the years, there's always been testing sessions to open up the game for testers in order to actually test. Unlike a lot of games, this game actually goes through rigorous testing. And when people are playing the game, especially me, you saw the last time I played because I was streaming it, there was a lot of things that needed improvement. There were bugs, there were things that didn't work that the developers were able to actually fix. So the playtests are exactly what they're meant to be, playtests. Now, the reason I thought this game wasn't going to come out in 2025, or I still think it, or maybe I'm wrong, but was because there was actually quite a big silence from the last time they posted the video, which was a couple of months ago, to now. But tomorrow, or today, as this video should be going up today, there is actually a Clover RPG testing session. Now, I don't know if this is going to be the last testing session before the release, or this testing session just to see if the new content that they've added to the game is actually functioning and working properly, because they've added a bunch of new things to the game, and one including a new region. So the new region is going to be a bunch of new content that goes inside of it, so the game does need to be tested. But if everything goes well, this game could possibly come out 2025. But the one thing I like about Clover RPG is that the devs are actually always working on it. So even if it doesn't, it's not really a problem, because it just means they're making the game better than it was before. Next, we have Hunter x Game. Now, Hunter x Game is a Hunter x Hunter game. Honestly, in my humble opinion, Hunter x Game looks amazing. From the Sly Kage videos I have seen, from the sneaks I have seen, Hunter x Game actually looks like a real Hunter x Hunter experience, and we haven't gotten that on Roblox ever. There've been Hunter x Hunter games that have come out in the past, and I mean the past, that were just really bad, bro. They're just really bad. We haven't actually gotten a real Hunter x Hunter game on Roblox ever, and Hunter x Game looks like it's going to fill that void. For some reason, I digress on what I was about to say, but Hunter x Game looks really good. They're not really transparent with the community. They haven't been transparent for quite a while now. We haven't really got any recent sneaks for quite a while now, and yeah, 100% not coming out this year. Might be one of those things, God knows if it's even still being worked on at this point, because Roblox developers will show you some cool sneaks for a game and then never show you anything again for 5 years straight. I'm not even over exaggerating too. Next, we have Beyond Nen. If anyone genuinely believes Beyond Nen's coming out in 2025, you and me and your mother and your parents are fools. We're all fools, right? Hunter x Hunter, oh, I said Hunter x Hunter. Beyond Nen was genuinely, well, from the movie that released, they said the game was meant to come out in July. There's been some hiccups along the way. I know what's happened in depth, but I can't share that information with you guys. But there's been some things that have happened that have rightfully so delayed the release that was meant to happen this summer. And yeah, we're here in fall, start of the semester, and no Beyond Nen information that is relevant to why the game got delayed. Decay hasn't shared that information publicly, and there's been no update on any time frames of Beyond Nen coming back. So if that is genuinely the case, just believe 2025 is a myth, okay? You're better off assuming that than putting your hopes and dreams on Beyond Nen coming out this year. So like I said, this one makes me a little bit depressed. Remember this game? I first showed this around early 2024. You can argue like it was mid 2024. But anyways, this was the best Dragon Ball Z game the Roblox platform has ever seen. And obviously when I first showed this game, it was still in early development. Now it's been over a year. It's been over a year and we don't know anything about the game. There isn't anything in announcements. There isn't anything. There's not been any recent sneaks. Just nothing. There's been nothing. And I kid you not, this would definitely be the best Dragon Ball Z game in probably Roblox history, because honestly, what game is gonna top this? Yeah, no. There's no game comparable to the quality we're seeing in these sneaks. And this is quite unfortunate. This game's not releasing in 2025, clearly. It's been over a year and we haven't gotten any sneaks. I'll be surprised if this game actually ever releases platform. But honestly, it's a bit upsetting, it's a bit depressing, but this was definitely gonna be the best Dragon Ball Z game on Roblox, most definitely. But it's upsetting, but it is what it is. I guess we're just never gonna get to play P. Next up, we have Mashle Academy. Now Mashle Academy is a bit of a scary one for me. Why is Mashle Academy a scary one? Because they actually post sneak peeks often. They always post sneak peek. Now if we're being fair, the last sneak peek was in July. The last sneak peek was in July, which means it was just over a month ago, about a month ago. Well, it's technically a month, and the developers are always working at this game. Mashle Academy is quite literally always being worked on, and since the last time, well, I've gotten to play Mashle Academies on 2 separate occasions. The first time I played it, the game was in a bit of a state where I was like, yeah, it could release, but there's a lot of flaws here. And the second time I played it, they actually polished a lot of things up. They made the progression a little bit more smooth sailing. Like before, the progression, it wasn't terrible, but it was a bit linear. They changed up the progression a little bit and made it less linear, made it so you had to actually just kind of explore the map and play the game a little bit more. So it made sense. You gotta actually traverse to each of the biomes to actually do what's inside of them, which made the game a little bit more immersive, like genuinely. However, there was still content that needs to be added. If you ask me, it was enough content for a release, but I guess working on the game more definitely wouldn't hurt. Now, ever since July, there's been no word of anything from the Mashle team. And again, it's pretty surprising because before July, or before the end of July, they actually posted sneaks quite often, genuinely. And ever since July, radio silent. But Mashle Academy, I can promise you, is most definitely not coming out this year. Mashle Academy is one of those games where I am looking forward to the release, but at the same time, all depends on how seriously the developers are taking, because this game definitely does have potential, but there are gameplay flaws within Mashle, within its base combat. There are areas where it is a little bit annoying, but the game overall is actually better than everything on the platform right now. So this game would actually do very well on the Roblox platform as it is currently. Honestly, no idea what's going on with this game. Next, we have a game a lot of people have been waiting for since like 2021. Well, I'm pretty sure the first like target video on this game was in 2021, and that is Towerbound, aka Shattered Spire, because they changed the name. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, as of 2025, this game is not ready. It's 100% not ready. If you go inside the Discord server, they took out the sneaks channel for the regular people. I don't know if it's completely gone or it's just hidden for regulars. So we can't see any sneaks, no progression sneaks, nothing. But the last time I checked it, there was no new sneaks. Rightfully so. This game's probably never coming out, if we're being honest, or it's gonna look like a 2027 release. And I'm not even joking. I do have a couple of people who sent me video clips of the last testing session. I don't know if I'm able to actually show these. I mean, obviously, if they said Revolver don't show these clips to anybody, I'm not allowed to show these clips to you guys, bro. I'm not allowed to, obviously. I don't know if there's a way I can show you guys and actually hide usernames. If I can, I probably will. But the game is definitely not ready. The last testing phase was, I think, it was only a couple of months ago. This was either sneaks taken in June or July. And in that playtest, the game was barely functional. Like, they didn't even get to play the game because progression wasn't working. This is a game that's been in development since 2021, and in 2025, progression isn't working during a playtest, during a tester playtest. That is scary. That is questionable. That is a side-eye situation. Not too sure what the developers have been doing all this time for the past couple of years, but clearly it hasn't been anything significant. That's crazy, in my opinion. That's crazy, genuinely, because this is one of those games, if you guys do know me, I was looking forward to offer it. But obviously, as of recently, we've seen that the developers might be trolling when it comes to this, and we hadn't actually seen clips outside of PvP up until now, or at least I hadn't seen clips of PvP up until recently that weren't just PvP. And it looks to me, I could be nitpicking, but it looks to me like a lot of the game is really, and I mean really, outdated. From the buildings to the Roblox, it's really outdated. I can't lie. So yeah, I don't think this game's ever releasing. If you guys were looking forward to Towerbound, I might say keep that interest to yourself. Genuinely, yeah. It's a very scary place to be if you're a Towerbound enthusiast. Next, we have Sinborne. Now, Sinborne's a bit of an interesting one because the way they've been promoting this game is pretty interesting. They'll post some either teasers or trailers, etc., and then disappear and go about their business. Now, from the way the Sinborne trailers or developers have conducted promoting the game, nobody really expects Sinborne to actively communicate with its community because the trailers, the teasers, etc. are always spread apart. However, if you watch trailer 1, which came out about 8 or 9 months ago, at the end of the trailer they did say Sinborne 2025. However, there hasn't been too much communication, as well as that this game doesn't actually have a public Discord server. The public Discord server will probably go live as soon as the game is ready to be released. So Sinborne could possibly come out 2025, but with the radio silence, I'm just gonna assume it's probably a 2026 joint. You never know. Sinborne could put out a release trailer any day now. Next, we have Grand Alpfime. Now, Grand Alpfime's release date is up in the air. As we do know, once upon a time, Grand Alpfime was a very scary looking game. But due to reviews, tester feedback, and even feedback from content creators, the owner of the game has actually improved the game a lot. Grand Alpfime back in 2020, early 2024, and Grand Alpfime now are two completely different games. And if we give credit for where credit is due, the game has definitely improved a lot. However, there has been quite the radio silence on the development team's part, so we have no idea what's actually, or at least I have no idea what's actually going on with the game right now. But from the things I've heard and seen, Grand Alpfime is most likely not going to have a 2025 release. However, I could be speaking early. There's still a couple months of this year left, and there's time to work on a game. But speaking from experience with Roblox anime developers, even if you have 3 or 4 months left of the year, that might and probably will not be enough time. Grand Clover. Now, a lot of people were looking forward to Grand Clover, which was pretty interesting. Grand Clover put out a trailer in 2024 and said the game was going to release in 2024, and as we do know, the game never came out. Now, I play tested Grand Clover back in 2023, and I wasn't actually meant to be testing the game. I got put in there by accident. By accident. And let's just say the 2023 version of Grand Clover wasn't very good. Now, if you want to be frank, the 2023 version of the game I played was November of 2023, so it was almost 2024 if you want to, you know, be frank. And as we saw from the trailer, the game actually never released. And the reason for that is because the game was never ready to be released. It was never optimized enough. It was never progressed enough for the game to release to the public. Grand Clover had released to the public in the most recent state state it was in from the last time I've seen sneaks. I'm sure I'm not even in the Discord server anymore. I have left. The game wasn't ready. Now, from rumors I heard, I don't know how true this is, the old owner either sold or got rid of the game to somebody else or a different studio. Don't quote me. This was information I heard months ago. I don't know how true that is. I don't know what's being done with the game right now. I don't even know if the current developers are actively working on the game. The last time any of the devs posted inside of the Discord server was December of 2024. December of 2024. And some of the old developers that worked on the game aren't even inside of the Discord server anymore. So again, Grand Clover is in a very shaky place. The last announcement was in December of 2024. The last sneak for Grand Clover was in August of 2024. Now, it is possible that the developers are still working on the game behind the scenes, but I just don't believe it. And if they are working on the game behind the scenes, that would mean the game's most likely going over a full complete revamp. And I mean a full complete revamp, because the game from before was not good enough to release to the public. It just wasn't. This game is not coming out anytime soon, this year or probably even next year. Do you guys remember Blade Art Online? Yeah, me neither. I don't remember the game. I'm joking. I remember to a certain extent. I do remember some early playtest in 2023 or 2022. I'm pretty sure it's 2023. But other than that, the game's been radio silent. I heard new developers picked up the game and have worked on it or have been working on it, but I haven't seen any sneaks or anything. I don't even remember what the Discord server name is. I don't even remember, because it's not Blade Art Online, I can tell you that. Is this game ever gonna release? Probably not. Probably not. Don't even count. Next, we have a game that a lot of people have been looking forward to since 2022, Bushido. Now, Bushido is a samurai RPG that for the time actually looked really good. Would Bushido work in current Roblox? I don't know. The game would be pretty outdated in my opinion. Honestly, it would be pretty outdated in my opinion. I do know there were some good developers who played and co-signed the game. Co-signed as in supported. I do remember seeing a picture of one of the Rell brothers, or just one of the Rell team members. I don't know if it was the Rell brothers specifically playing Bushido, gripping or getting gripped by somebody else. But this was a very, very, very long time ago. Bushido doesn't post any sneaks. I don't even know if the game's still being worked on. Don't count on this game at all. A lot of you guys have probably forgotten about it, which is very valid. Next, we have probably one of the most hyped Roblox anime games to ever exist on this platform that isn't Rell Seas, and that's Anime Legend. Now, Anime Legends would have been the biggest Roblox anime game to release on the platform if it released when it was intended to release, around that 2022-2023 era. However, for whatever reason, the Block Zone developers decided to not communicate the fact that the game was dropped. The game was dropped. I don't know if it was a funding issue or there was some stuff going on in the dev team that never made the light of day. However, Anime Legends got dropped. And the thing is, with all the YouTubers who made videos covering where's Anime Legends, etc., the Block Zone developers had the cheek to write a fake note of apology and put it on their page just to never release the game. These guys, Roblox developers are serial liars, and it's disgusting in my opinion. Just say there's some hiccups on the team and the game's not being made anymore. Now, most people actually do speculate is that Block Zone ran out of money. All of Block Zone's games got taken down to DMCA, to copyright strike. So where would they have had the money to fund their team? Because there was multiple dev teams working on multiple different games. And instead of being transparent about what was going on with Anime Legends, Block Zone developers thought it was wise to make games nobody gave a fuck about, like Anime Warriors, and there was another game they made, I think it was like a Anime Warriors revamp or two. There was so many different multi-anime games they ended up making that died within a week. If anything, a couple of days, or just never really launched with a good amount of players, so it just faded off very fast. Again, the community probably would have been supportive if they were transparent with Anime Legends. if anything, if they were transparent with Anime Legends, they probably could have got the funding they needed or the support they needed, because there was hundreds of thousands of people who wanted to see Anime Legends come to life. Making fake trailers is the stupidest thing you could ever do. So whoever ran Block Zone, you guys are very incompetent, can't lie. Golden Peace Adventures. Now, a lot of people probably don't remember this game. However, I wouldn't blame you because the game was all sneaks. Now, this game had actually been compared to Rell Seas at one point, and the reason for that is because of this Kaido sneak. This Kaido sneak was so high quality, it looked so good, to the point where people were actually saying, hey, this could rival Rell Seas. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, it was never gonna rival Rell Seas, but the Kaido sneak was actually really good. Unfortunately, the game was never finished, and I don't know if the game's still being worked on now, but it's been almost like 2 years since the Kaido sneak went big, and there's no news on the game. So yeah, this game probably won't come out 2025 or 2026, if we're being quite honest. And we have Countless Worlds. Now, Countless Worlds has been in development for God knows how long. I'm very sure 2022 to 2021. And it's always great to know developers are working on their game. It's great to know. In fact, giving developers space to work on their game is always a beautiful thing. However, Countless Worlds has been in development for so long, for so long, and every couple of months, and I mean every other 6 months or so, maybe even longer, they'll post some sneaks on the game and then disappear for another 6 to 8 months before they even say anything. Not too sure this game's ever gonna come out. Clearly the developers are working on it if they post occasional sneaks, but yeah, I wouldn't count on Countless Worlds in 2027, yet alone 2025. And the last game I have to show you guys is Eleon. Now, the only reason I'm showing you guys this game is because I wanted to show you guys this new sneak. Obviously, this game is not coming out in 2025. We just started seeing sneaks for this game this month, August, which is pretty crazy. We've seen a lot of sneaks in just the month of August. They've literally spammed us with sneaks, which is actually really nice to see. Hopefully, sometimes it's good to do stuff like this, but sometimes it's bad. And the only reason I say sometimes it's bad is because are you going to be able to be consistent with the amount of sneaks shown? If we got like 10 sneaks in 20, I'm not gonna lie, we've probably got like 20 plus sneaks in August alone, right? Are we going to get a consistent amount of sneaks in September, November, December? It's really just a case of how consistent the sneaks are going to be, in my opinion, because a lot of these sneaks have definitely gotten me hyped. And the one I'm about to show you guys right here definitely got me a little bit excited, right? But if they just disappear, let's say November, December, they disappear and come back January, you know, I'll be a bit upset. But obviously this game's not coming out this year. I honestly just wanted to showcase the sneak to you guys. Look at this. Honestly, look at it. Look at it. And now we know it's not copyright music, so that's good. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I'm honestly just letting you guys watch it. Sprites are amazing. Animations are amazing. I might be gassing it a little bit, right? But every time I see a Pokemon inspired game on this platform, I do get a tad bit excited. I did the same thing with Tales of Tenerio. The sneaks were looking good. I thought the developers were gonna cook. And it's not that Tales of Tenerio is not necessarily a good game, but the developers definitely dropped the ball when it came to Tales of Tenario. And I'm a bit scared for future, you know, Pokemon inspired games, because the sneaks always look good and then they end up only having Route 1 complete, and you have to wait 6 months for the rest of the routes to come out, which is actually very annoying. Please don't remind me. But this looks beautiful. And from this, obviously, this is, you can read it. Basically, you can run into legendary Eleons depending on you have a chance. It's not guaranteed. It's kind of like, it's probably a higher rarity than running into a shiny Eleon. I'm assuming there's going to be shinies in this game at least, right? It's probably a higher chance of running into a shiny Eleon, but still pretty low % chance that you're able to run into a legendary Eleon depending on the biome you're in. So obviously if I'm in like an ice biome, it's probably going to have some ice legendary within that area I have a chance of running into. And as you can see by the levels, right, this is still the beginner route area. Level 7, bro. Level 14. Hasn't even evolved yet, right? So this is still the beginning area, and they're running into a legendary Eleon for that area. And obviously, running into a legendary Eleon, you're going to get the cutscene. So you'll automatically know that you've run into something crazy because it will have this screen. Usually if you run into a Eleon in the grass, it doesn't do that. And then you'll have the little cutscene at the start. So you'll know you've ran into a legendary Eleon by just the start screen alone. And again, it's just small things like this that haven't been implemented in other games that are genuinely so beautiful. And I appreciate things like this because a lot of creature capture games don't do things like this, right? So honestly, beautiful. Obviously, Eleon's not going to be coming out this year. 100%. I just found it as a good excuse to put it in the video so I could actually just show you guys this. Yeah, honestly, it's so beautiful. I've watched it like 20 times at this point. So let me not glaze the game too much. Every time I glaze a game, X, the games you glaze always end up dying. How about we hold the developers accountable and not me for being interested in games when we've had a whole year full of nothing? Of course we're going to be interested in games when Roblox has not been producing good games recently. Anyways, yeah, honestly, that's all the games you're looking forward to that aren't coming out this year. Now, there were some games here that I didn't talk about. Things like Hollowfied, there is a chance the game doesn't like come out this year, but I'm very sure the game does plan on having a 2025 release. The reason why games like that aren't on this list is because it's a bit too early to say whether or not. Revolveragz hasn't really said too much of anything, but at the same time, I do believe Alpfime is trying to do a 2025 release from rumors and things I've been seeing inside the Discord server general chat. As well as that, there are a bunch of other games that may or may not come out this year, but those ones, if I wasn't too sure if it was coming out this year, like if it's more likely to come out this year than next year, I just didn't include it. You know, even things like Project Slayers 2, right? There's a chance that actually may not come out this year, but even though Uop did say he does plan on a 2025 release for his game, it's 50-50. So if I wasn't really sure, like there were some games on this list where it's like I'm not sure but it's most likely not going to. But if I wasn't sure but it's most likely going to, I just didn't add it, if you get what I mean by that. Anyways, I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you guys think. At this point, I think the community is just pretty numb to Roblox developers in general, because you guys say games are coming out and they don't come out. Then when they do come out, even though we've been waiting for 4 years, for some reason the game doesn't have any content. It doesn't really make sense. Not too sure what's going on. Recently, I feel like a lot of Roblox developers just aren't trying, and it's pretty depressing to see. Even though some of these guys be getting 6-7 figures worth of funding before the game even comes out to make sure the game does come out with content and good content, it's like they're pocketing all the funding and using like 5% of it on the actual game. At this point, Roblox games are scam. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.